Dennis Nilsen, also known as the Muswell Hill murderer, was a British serial killer who was active in the late 1970s and early 1980s. He was responsible for the murders of at least 12 young men and boys. Nilsen's crimes were particularly gruesome, involving necrophilia, dismemberment, and even cooking and eating his victims' remains. In this blog post, we will explore the fascination with serial killers and true crime, using the case of Dennis Nilsen as an example. It's no secret that many people are drawn to true crime stories, especially those involving serial killers. There is something morbidly fascinating about the psychology of these individuals and the horrific acts they commit. For some, it's a way to satisfy a morbid curiosity, while others are drawn to the genre for more complex reasons, such as a desire to understand the human psyche or a fascination with the criminal justice system. In the case of Dennis Nilsen, the public's fascination with his crimes was heightened by the sheer brutality of his actions. He targeted vulnerable young men who were often homeless or struggling with addiction. He would lure them to his apartment with the promise of food or shelter, and then strangle them. Afterward, he would often engage in sexual acts with their corpses and dispose of the remains by burning or flushing them down the toilet. The media coverage of Nilsen's trial and subsequent imprisonment only fueled the public's fascination with his crimes. Books, movies, and television shows have been made about his case, and people continue to be intrigued by the gruesome details of his murders. However, it's important to remember that behind the sensationalism and entertainment value of true crime lies real victims and their families. When we focus too much on the killers and their crimes, we can forget about the impact that these atrocities have on real people. It's important to approach true crime with empathy and respect for the victims and their loved ones. In conclusion, the case of Dennis Nilsen is a prime example of the public's fascination with serial killers and true crime. While it's natural to be intrigued by the psychology of these individuals and the crimes they commit, we must also remember to approach these stories with sensitivity and respect for the victims and their families.